Today's devotions come from 1 Samuel 8, and I've condensed it with selected verses. This is how it reads. Then all the elders of Israel came to Samuel and said, Behold, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint for us a king like all the nations. And Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, Obey the voice of the people and all that they say to you. For they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them. According to all the deeds that they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt, even to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are also doing to you. Now then, obey their voice. Only you shall solemnly warn them and show them the ways of the king who shall reign over them. So Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people. He said, These will be the ways of the king. He will take your sons. He will take your daughters. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards. He will take the 10th of your grain and of your vineyards. He will take your male servants and female. He will take the 10th of your flocks, and you shall be his slaves. And in that day you will cry out because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves. But the Lord will not answer you in that day. But the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, No, but there shall be a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations. The Hebrews had a king they rejected. It was the Lord God who'd rescued them from slavery in Egypt. It was his Passover and grain offerings they celebrated yearly. It was his law they were to live by. All this they rejected. They rejected God and his ways, his prophets and judges. God told Samuel that they were not rejecting Samuel, but rejecting himself. All because they wanted to be like everybody else around them. They had forgotten why God had chosen them. They were to be the sign and signal to the world of how God loved his creation and the people he created to inhabit his world. But they turned away from being his chosen and beloved, so they instead could be like everyone else. And through Samuel, God warned them what the result would be. They would be like everyone else. They would become slaves again. They were choosing the slavery of everyone else in the world. They wanted to be ruled over in cruel and unfair ways rather than live under the protection and love of the Lord God, their King. Now, it's not hard to see ourselves in their words and actions, is it? How often in a day do we reject God's ways for us? How quickly do we want to have what others around us in this world have at the cost of turning away from the cross of Jesus Christ? Now, we know the Hebrew story well, but do we learn from it just as well? Take heart, dear friends. God has not abandoned you to your own selfish desires and left you to be slaves again to the temptations of evil, sin, and the devil. Just as he redeemed Israel over and over, he has in the cross of Christ, our King, redeemed you once and for all, now and forever. This he's done in his great love and compassion for you. Learn from that and live in that. God's peace is with you. Goodbye.